Well, we're going to be talking to Donald here shortly. Why don't you start by telling us about his progress? Obviously, he gained a lot of experience the last couple seasons. Do you feel like he is going to be vastly improved?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it really started, towards the end of spring, beginning of the summer workouts. He did a good job of losing some body fat and being able to gain some muscle there. Really redefining his body. And when we started fall camp and we started doing pursuit drills, it really showed. He's running faster now. He's moving quicker. So he's been. It's been exciting to be able to see him, transform over the summer and really see, see the work pay off, from his workouts.
The next question would be Clay Cromwell. How's he adjusting to playing tackle? When we spoke to Coach Newberry, he indicated he hadn't practiced a lot because he's been battling something. But are you getting him back? Is he to the point where he's taking live reps? And how's Clay adjusting to playing tackle?
Yeah, so we bring him along slowly, coming from his injury that he had, but he's back healed now. He's working through a lower extremity injury there that he had earlier in camp. So really right now, with Clay, is mental. I mean, he has the physical tools, and we know that. But right now is just working on him mentally, understanding the scheme, turning him into a multi-dimensional player, knowing his role. I mean, in the meeting room, he sits right in the middle and he sits right up front. So he doesn't miss anything that we go over. So when it's time to get out there and he's full go, he won't be skipping a beat mentally.
So with Clay not taking live reps, who's getting a lot of reps over there at tackle? And is there any concern that Clay won't be ready for the opener?
No, there's no concern at all. Clay's a warrior, he battles, whether it's, if he has a little pain here or there, it doesn't affect him at all. He's tough as nails. He's going to be ready to go for the opener.
In the second half of that question about who's getting a lot of reps in with him being out of live drills.
Oh yeah, sorry. So we have Creedon Folger, who's taking a lot of reps. John Brand, Michael Whitehouse is taking a lot of reps in that position. Those guys are doing a good job and getting a lot of much needed reps. Being young players on the field, just being able to get those physical reps out there, knowing where to fit, being able to understand blocking schemes, and all those things is vital for them, and it's working out well for them to be able to get those quality reps in practice.
Randy Cross.
Hey, Coach. Randy Cross, CBS. Doing well. Thank you. Hey, of your group, who are the best guys at pressing that inside of the pocket, closing off those avenues of escape, just so, whatever you guys dial up coming from other directions, that QB is still there when they get there?
Yeah. Well, that's one thing in the room that we're always stressing, being the balancer, being able to balance out the rush and those types of things, not leaving cavities in the rush lane for the quarterback to run through. Is really those guys who are to the side of the blitz, just making sure they're able to press the pocket, and we work on the shoots every single day. In order to press the pocket, you got to have great pad level. You got to run with body lean, have push, be able to extend your hands. So those interior guys that we have has been doing a really good job at that. And it's showing up. It's showing up in practice. It's showing up in the scrimmage snaps. Being able to get into the face of the quarterback, being able to be in that balancer when pressure is coming from different sides of the field.
With his quickness, obviously Berniard's a guy that can get across the line of scrimmage pretty fast. How are his hands? How does he deal with guys from the standpoint of using his hands when it comes to a pass?
Yeah, well, he hasn't had the length, as other defensive linemen would. All right, so he uses, he may use a chop, or he may use a long arm stab, to be able to get push, to be able to chop the outside hand down of offensive linemen, to be able to use his quickness to get around them. And he does a really good job of that. He understands, the techniques he must use to be able to get around those guys. And he does a good job of doing it, just understanding leverage, being able to get his hips, open his hips up so he can get around bigger guys.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Bill Bergman.
Coach, you touched on this a little earlier. Nick Straw mentioned Creedon is having a really good fall camp so far too. What are you seeing out of him?
Oh, Creedon Folger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to crawl before you can walk. And he's been in the crawling stages on being able to, pick up the fundamentals, of the position from being out, for a couple of years. He's doing a really good job. He's inconsistent right now, but football is important to him, and he works on his craft every single day. In the room, we talking about building a wall, and we know you just can't talk about it. You got to come out every day, and you got to bring your brick, and you got to place your brick into the wall, and lay it perfectly, and that's what we work on. That's what he's been doing. He's been coming out, he's been getting better every day. And, I'm excited about him, and I'm excited about his development, because football is important to him, and he's going to do everything he has to do to get to where we need him to be when it's time to get out there and start playing some ball.
He's not in your position group, but getting to see Aiden, your son, out there in practice every day, what's this been like for you?
Oh, it's been awesome. It's been awesome. I got my coach hat on, and also got my dad hat on at the same time, just making sure he's okay, checking up with him and all those things. But and then the coach side of things, just making sure once he's able to get out there and start running around, we got to make sure we get the most out of him too, just like everybody else.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Wags.
So obviously you move Cromwell over to tackle. That puts a little more pressure on Donald because they've been splitting reps, but then you obviously must have some faith in some people behind Donald at nose guard. Can you talk a little bit about who's backing up Biscuit?
Oh yeah, yes sir. We have Nolan Barber. He's another. He's tough as nails. As well. I mean, he's one of the hardest working. Hardest working guys in the room. It's important to him. He's strong. He plays with good pad level. Really excited about him as a young player, being a sophomore next year, being able to contribute, being able to back up Biscuit there at nose guard, give Biscuit a chance to catch a blow if he needs one. I feel like he can get in there and get the job done.
And over, first, you added defensive ends. You had been just coaching the nose guards and tackles. What's it been like to add the ends? Has it been seamless for you to pick up that position as well?
Oh yes sir. Yes sir. It's been awesome being able to coach the defensive ends again, especially with the group that we have. I mean, they're a hardworking bunch. They want to do right. They listen and they take the coaching. And they've been having a really good camp, out there. So it's been nice. I mean, in our defense, defensive tackle and the defensive end, it's a lot of the same type of mechanics, it's a lot of the same type of techniques, with the fronts that we use. So, it's been good. Those guys been in there getting reps and playing fast, playing hard. Excited. I'm excited about the defensive ends that we have.
Obviously, Busick got a lot of experience last year. He flashed at times. Do you expect Busick to make a leap?
What's the last thing you said?
Do you expect Busick to make a leap forward?
Yes. Absolutely. He has already in our practices. The one thing that I've noticed from him from the past is, just his overall, his football intelligence, his awareness. He's able to see things a lot faster now than he has before in the past. He understands, what offenses, the blocking schemes, and he's getting off the ball a lot better. He's really taken to, being able to rush the passer, so I'm excited about him, and the leaps that he's made from the spring, just from a standpoint of just his overall awareness and understanding, where his fit is within the scheme of the defense.
And when we spoke to Coach Newberry, I think Phil might have asked him about Reed, and he's coming on, and he gained experience last year. He didn't get a lot of reps, but a good amount of reps. But Coach Newberry indicated that he thinks Reed is going to be able to give you, you might have a two-way threat at end.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, as a sophomore, he hasn't played a huge amount of ball, here, but he's practicing well. He's another guy who he understands his fits. He's gotten stronger, a little bigger from a year ago. He's played with really good leverage, really good knee bend, with his pad level. We got two guys there at defensive end where, I feel like we can roll and keep guys fresh, going into the fourth quarter. When we get in the fourth quarter and it's time to make some football plays, I think we're going to have some guys to be able to do it.
Randy.
Thank you.
Yeah, Coach. Nowadays, in line play in general, both sides of the line, how much in common does it have with martial arts and the amount of hand play that goes on?
Well, I don't really get into a lot of martial arts, so to speak, but I also know, one of our four cores that we have on the defensive line, is your hand skills. Every play you got to be using your hands, all right, to be able to have balance, to be able for leverage, be able to rush the quarterback, and such. So every practice, we're going to have, drills that are going to focus mainly on our hands, being able to get, inside hands wins, offensive linemen, they're trying to do the same for us, as we're trying to do to them. So getting our hands inside is critical for leverage, balance, being able to snatch off a block and go make a football play. So that's, very, 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 very important, very vital to the skills of a defensive lineman. You got to be able to use your hands, all right, to make football plays out there.
Kind of along those lines, who's your best pure rusher, pass rusher? A guy that just seems to be able to do it just naturally. Yeah,
I would say so Busick is probably our most natural pass rusher. As far as being, he has a God-given ability, with his length and things like that, being able to get his hands on offensive blockers and being able to pull, use his hips to get around guys. So I would say Busick is really good with the pass. But we're all learning how to rush the passer. Is what we're doing. We're all learning how to rush the passer. We all have our drills. Everyone's working hard. With those drills. It's all about development. And that's what we're doing in camp. We're developing and we're identifying our pass rushers so that when third down comes and it's time to get the quarterback down and get off the field, we want to be ready for that.
Just in general, I mean, talk about the defensive line and how, crucial it is in this American Athletic Conference, which is so tough to do in both. I mean, there's a lot of pass-happy teams, so you got to be able to rush the passer and get some pressure, collapse the pocket. But also, teams like Cincinnati and others are good, solid running teams. How do you feel the defensive line will hold up? You think it's going to be stout?
There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. As hard as we've been working out there, as much as football is important to our guys, we get tons of fundamental work. We're under the chute, every single day. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. We're gonna play as hard as we can. We're gonna do our job. All right, and the rest is gonna work itself out.
So, I mean, no matter how you slice it, you guys, I know that Coach Fitz did a great job with the guys, and you mentioned that Biscuit has gotten in better shape and he's stronger, and I'm sure all of them are across the board. But in the end, you're going to be smaller than most of the offensive linemen you're going up against. That's probably not something you were used to in your previous coaching career before coming to Navy. I know nobody was bigger than you when you played at NC State. But how do you approach that? I mean, you like the underdog mentality, and we got to be on our P's and Q's as far as technique and fundamentals, because we're not going to just overpower people.
That's right. That's right. I wouldn't want it any other way. I wouldn't want to coach another defensive line. All right. I love our group that we have. We're hungry. They understand, the size difference. They love the challenge, but they know that if they come off the ball with low pads, all right, shooting their hands, playing with leverage, with great ball get off, they know we're going to be just fine in there versus bigger opponents. It's just a skill set you got to have. It doesn't matter the size. As long as we play with low pads, we're going to be fine.
Yeah, that's what Randy Cross always said. He wasn't the biggest center in the NFL, but he got the job done. And last from me, was on that note specifically, Biscuit is undersized for a nose guard. He's not, your typical 300 plus nose guard. What makes him so effective? Why has he been so good, even as a young pup?
It's it's two things. It's his ball get off, and it's his lateral quickness. His ball get off and his lateral quickness. All right, is what he uses as two strengths of his. He doesn't worry about what he don't have, right? We worry about what he does have, right? And that's lateral quickness and great ball get off. And his football intelligence is through the roof. He understands it all. I tell him one time how to correct something, and he's going to do it. And that's what makes him so good, being a little undersized at nose guard.
Hey, so we've heard from both Coach Newberry and Coach Hall that you've changed your body a little bit. You've lost a couple, unneeded pounds and replaced them with muscle weight. Can you talk about that? Was that a focus for you in the off season?
Oh yeah, that was definitely a focus for me in the off season. Compared to my plebe year, I was a little bit on the smaller side coming out of plebe summer. I picked up some weight going into my sophomore year, but I don't think it was the best weight for me. Just a little bit heavy side, more fat. But this off season, I wanted to, put a more emphasis on protein and, more lifting and getting my body right. The good amount of weight to lose and the good amount of weight to fat. And I attribute that to Coach Fitz and what Scott's doing, what all the people in the facilities are doing over here, really helping me in the right direction.
So, I mean, is it noticeable? I mean, are you a different weight than you were last year, or is it more that you're just stronger?
I think I'm stronger. I'm stronger last year, and I was more on the heavier side. I think I was like 8 or 9 pounds heavier, and I'm still as strong as I was last year. So, it's a bit cutting out that fat and putting on more muscle, and I think that's what it is.
So you may go from being a biscuit to a hoagie.
Yeah.
What I know that even still you're going against guys in the American Athletic Conference who are going to be bigger all the time. You're going against some pretty stout interior linemen. I mean, do you feel that you'll be able to hold up against them better with this, or you feel like you're still going to be, fighting uphill when it's as far as size concerned?
The size different never really got to me really, but back to my plebe year, I was probably like 7 pounds less than what I was now. So I think I'm ahead of the track what I was from even last year and the year before that. So, I don't think size is really a big concern for me, but I think I'll be in good shape to handle all the guys in the conference and the other non-conference guys that we have up on the schedule.
All right, I'll let Phil ask a question.
Go ahead, Phil.
Basically, we were talking to Coach Hall prior to talking to you, and he was talking about your high football IQ. Do you consider that one of your strengths?
Yeah, that's one thing I definitely have to have, at an advantage. then most linemen are, people I go against because, like as Bill said, I'm not the strongest, the biggest. So, just having, the knowledge of the game, the tendencies of what the offensive line has to do, or what they're good at is really a step up for me to compete on this level and, just face just anybody who lines up across from me.
You're one of 11 athletes and one of 2 juniors that have 2 or more letters on the team this year. Just being one of now the veterans on this team, what role has this given to you in fall camp?
As far as the D-line room, we try to bring the younger guys up, show them what this is what Coach Hall wants, and this is what Coach Newberry expects from us. So, just trying to get the younger guys and show them like, hey, this is what it takes to play here at Navy, and the standard that we have, while also raising the standard I have for myself. So just bringing the younger guys up, especially, and trying to be a good example for them.
And lastly, for me, just from a technique wise, what are you really trying to work on heading into the game against Delaware?
Just trying to get my pass rush up a little bit. Coach Hall has been on me a lot this fall camp, so we have been putting some more emphasis on pass rush this fall camp, heading into the season.
Thank you.
Wags.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the fellows behind you at nose guard? They moved Clay. Well, let's ask this question first. Clay moving over to D tackle. I know he and Max Musin and some others. Do you feel good working alongside? Because I know that the tackle can be interior sometimes and be helping you with what you do. Can you talk about the tackles and how you're getting along with them over there?
Oh yeah, I'm really excited about Clay and all the young guys over at tackle. It's all the defensive line spots are kind of interchangeable. It's like anybody can play any position on the line, but yeah, I'm really excited about Clay and what the younger guys have to offer, and even with the nose guards with Nolan Barber, all the people in his class. I'm just they're full of energy. They come every day ready to work. I'm really excited to see what they can do for us this year.
Yeah, I misspoke. I meant Creed and Folger. And I guess Brand is over there as well at tackle.
Yeah.
Yes, but he is.
All right. Well, and then can you enlighten us a little more about the fellow behind you, Barber? I mean, and maybe some of the other young nose guards. Talk about mentoring these guys. And I know you're just a junior, but with all your experience, you have to be a mentor to them. But apparently, they like a lot of what they see at Barber.
Oh yeah, Nolan's one of the strongest guys on this team, man. I live for them. I'm just like, man, I'm trying to catch up to you. Yeah, he's real smart, just like me. Not just here, but in the classroom too. But he's just real smart about the game, and I'm excited for all the plebes coming up. Whiteside, Webb, and all those plebes coming up too. But as far as the nose guard position, we're in good hands.
What as far as we talked to Coach Hall about your strengths and what you do well, and he told get off time and lateral movement. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Expound on, where did you learn it? How did you perfect it? And why is that such an advantage? How do you use that to your advantage, knowing that you may be a little bit smaller than some of the guys you're going up against?
It's kind of what Coach Newberry expects in all the defensive linemen really is to be quick, be able to move laterally, be able to slant. So, just extra work. I've been working a lot back at home before this in high school, prep school. So yeah, just hard work, just crafting that at what I need to work on, get offs, just repetition after repetition. Just keeping those going. And it's something that Coach Newberry and Coach Hall expects all the defensive linemen to do is move well if you want to play here.
So it's not something, you weren't a wrestler in high school, were you?
Oh, no, I wasn't.
Right. Because a lot of times wrestlers are real good with leverage and all that. Is that something you're still working on, leverage? I think that's something that's also crucial. Coach Hall just talked about the importance of it. If you want to overcome lack of size against a bigger lineman, leverage is the key.
Oh, yeah, and that's one thing I feel like I have an advantage of most linemen is I'm shorter, so I can get under pads much easier than the 6'4", 6'5" guy. And so, yeah, I definitely I definitely use my height, being a smaller guy, to my advantage.
So are there some packages where you would shift over to tackle?
Like our coaches always tell us, like the nose and tackle positions are kind of interchangeable. So there would be some plays where I appear as a tackle, and there's some plays that I may be just an head up zero. So, you know, from a 0 to a 4-eye, just all across the line, I can line up anywhere really.
Yeah, for the unders, you're talking about zero technique to
Yeah.
what does 4-eye mean exactly?
A 4-eye is like the inside shoulder of the tackle. Basically, kind of, you know, you're lining up on the tackle basically.
Okay, gotcha. All right. All right, I'll pass it to Bill.
Bill,
Biscuit, just going one-on-one against the offensive line so far this fall, have there been any linemen that have impressed you on the offensive side of the ball?
You know, those two guards that are in my class, they just give me all I can handle every day. Ahmad Bradley and Josh Pena. You know, they really give me all I can handle every day. And usually Lyrion Mertezi, he's up there too, but he's been a little bit banged up. He's coming off the ACL from this past season. But you know, those three guys, we've been battling out since naps. And, you know, they just give me all I can handle every day at practice.
I know Aaron Donald's a once-in-a-generation type specimen. Are there any other smaller defensive tackles in the league or in college that you're watching to maybe pick up some tips from?
There's one tackle called Grady Jared from the Falcons. I don't know if y'all ever heard of him, but
Yep.
you know, I watched him going all the way from high school, you know, when he was coming out of Clemson, and just how explosive he was. He's same height as Aaron Donald, but the way he really uses his leverage like me, and just the way he uses his hands, it was just really impressive to me.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Wags,
I'm good.
I got one for you, Biscuit. What Planet University lab in Baton Rouge? How did that experience help you into college?
You know, it just, man, bring me back a little, Scott. You know, it was on LSU's campus, so it really gave us that college feel. And you know, just my school, we played some of the best teams in Louisiana. We were the best team in Louisiana. We were like top 25 in the country my senior year. So, you know, just going against some of the top competition in Louisiana, and you know, we had a whole bunch of coaches, good coaches over there, and just a whole lot of people come watching us play. You know, that just really gave me a college feel already, kind of, if you get what I'm saying. That just being at university, I think really helped me prepare to be here where I am today.
Got Marcus Thomas now back on staff from Catholic High School in Baton Rouge. Is there any trash talk between you two about which is the better high school?
Oh no, he hasn't given me anything yet. But I was going to tease him about how we beat his high school 2 times. We beat him by 20+ points, but I'm not going to give him that right now.